Hey guys, welcome here to my channel and today to the July Diorama Challenge results video. Massive shout out to Astrotron for helping me film these maps this month. Mr. Unit is away on his holidays, so he couldn't help me this month, so Astrotron has stepped in and helped me, so massive thanks to him. So I provided you with this B&M hypercoaster, which was super interesting because the map was really long and skinny. It was 10 squares wide and 100 squares long. You guys did some amazing ideas, amazing builds. I can't wait to show you them and get into those. As always, any criticisms I make, please do not take it to heart. I really appreciate every single one of you that actually takes the time to actually build something and send it to me and just to be a part of this kind of community build challenge. It's not really about the winning, it's about the building and the learning and picking up new techniques from other builders. Well, that's exactly what I've done from doing this for the last year and a half or so. I've learned so many new cool techniques and different kind of building styles from you guys. So before I get into the actual entries, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up for this video. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to support me as a creator, you can come over to my Patreon channel. It's just €3 a month, and there you get some early access to videos and behind the scenes looks at what I'm building. So without further ado, in no particular order, first up we've got Fjord Roller by Tanky. This is a great little map. I love the composition of the whole thing. I prefer the back end of the map to the front end. I think this end has a really cool design with the buildings. I love the way you've used the Freedom 2K there to kind of position some of the buildings a little bit more kind of an angle, etc. It gives it a really organic feeling to it. I really like it. I also love the colors you use. I think the blue track against the red buildings works super well. I really like it. And also you've managed to weave in a monorail and a submarine ride. I think the submarine ride works perfect for this map. The other end of the map, I'm not so keen on the station and the kind of huge mountain there, but I understand why the mounting is there. It gives that look of the Scandinavia kind of mountings and everything, and the station I felt like could have had a bit more detail, but it was a great map, so thank you. Next up we have Alpine Racer. This is by Angry Chickens. Again, another great map. I really liked it. I felt like in a couple places it looked a little bit unfinished, but in general as a whole I thought it was really pretty. I love some of the little details as well, like we've got these canoes on the river there going underneath the structure. That's a really nice little thing. You'll see that in a second. Some of the landscaping is really pretty. I like the terrain work and the foliage that you've put in there as well. All together as a whole, it looks really, really great. You've even gone ahead and put these wooden planks in the track to kind of make it look like a mine train, as you went for like a more of a mine train style feel for this one. And you even went ahead and put mine train trains there on the track, so that was really nice, a bit different. The only person that kind of really changed the style of the coaster from being a B&M hyper into a mine train. This end is really cool, got some really cool Swiss buildings there. I think the buildings are really cool, really detailed. I really like them a lot. They look really, really good. Like I said, I just felt like some of the mounting work and some of the terrain in the middle section looked a little bit unfinished, but apart from that I think the details are really lovely. And here you can see a nice clip of the canoes there on the water. So here we have Crimson Skyline for obvious reasons. This is a very red map, and this was sent in by Pure Essence. Again, a builder who has been playing for a few months now, and every single month I see massive improvements within your building and with your building style as well. And compared to the first map you ever sent me, this is a huge leap forward. I'm really proud of what you're doing, and please keep playing because I can really see that you're picking up new techniques and styles from other builders. It's really great to see. This map is really, really cool. Of course, got some red neon strip lighting everywhere, and yeah, the buildings are a bit blocky in that, but I think it works with the style that you've gone for. It is a little bit empty in places, but it was a huge map, and I can really appreciate what you've tried to do there. Got a cool sci-fi style station there as well, and a gravitron flat ride, so that's really cool to see. Great map. I would like to see maybe in the future from you maybe a go at doing some type of supporting on the coaster, etc., to really just enhance the details even more. But I really appreciate you taking the time and building this and sending it in to me, so thank you. Next up here we have a Visit to Oz by Telly, and I love the builds that Telly does, always really interesting and really unique. This is a great theme, something I haven't thought of doing before, something I haven't seen either, so that's really, really cool. We have the Wizard of Oz, and this takes you basically on the story of the Wizard of Oz, starting off in Kansas City there with Dorothy and the tornado. This is of course a fantasy map, so it's not supposed to be looked at with a realism eye, so I can really appreciate all the little details and nods to the movie that you've got here. We've got a cool balloon ride there, which is obviously a nod to the Wizard of Oz and the way he travels. and we got a nice little green emerald city there as well. And then on the end of the map, covering up the depot, we have the castle from the Wicked Witch of the West, which is of course the Green Witch. So that's really cool. I absolutely love it. The train has a couple red seats on the back of it. I don't know whether that's to represent the ruby slippers from Dorothy. I don't know. But the whole map as a whole is really cool. There's a lot going on, and I can see there's a lot of story that's been put into it as well, and it's a great nod to the film. And I think the theme has worked out really perfect in this situation. So massive congratulations for you to doing this map. I really enjoyed it. So next up here, I'm taking you back into the 90s. We have a map here called Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter. And this map is really awesome, a really unique idea. I really like it. Of course, what Jod23 has done has taken 4 fight arenas from one game and 4 fight arenas from the other game and put them together and made this epic diorama. It's really cool. Each little arena has its own theme, its own style, and that's been really cool to see throughout the whole thing. Again, this is a fantasy map, so it's not to be looked at from a realistic point of view, but I can really appreciate all the details and the ideas that have gone into this. And I think, yeah, it's something I haven't seen before, having like multiple themes within one theme in a map, if that makes sense. But it's really cool. Here's the kind of station for the ride. I kind of feel like the station could have had a little bit more detail, but on a whole, I think it really fits the kind of aesthetic and the style from the games. And each section does have some really cool theming, so I can really appreciate the work that's gone into it. What I think is really cool is the health bars, I think that's what they're called, on top with like the scores of each fight on each little section. I think that's really cool, really unique. Haven't seen that before either, so I can really appreciate everything that you did with this one, so well done. So now let's spring ahead to Christmas time. I'm taking you to Christmas Town in the middle of summer right now. This is Christmas Town, and basically, of course, like I just said, is a Christmas themed map. This utilizes lots of pieces from one of the DLCs that has the candy and chocolate and the gingerbread walls and roofs, that kind of thing, all the cake pieces. Those have really helped you kind of nail this theme on the head. I really like it. I think you've definitely nailed that Christmas kind of feeling. I do think the buildings in this map are a little bit kind of blocky and don't have that much detail on them, but I can definitely see what you were going for. I'm not keen on the flow of the map. The paths are a bit random, but overall I really like it. I really like these reindeer heads that you have on the station building. I think those are really cool. They're very special. You've made those really well, but thank you for sending that one in to me. Next up here we have Tobys Wonderland by My Name is Toby, and again, this is one of these maps that has basically been like, oh my god, what theme am I going to do? Let's do them all. So you've split the map up into lots of different sections, and each section has a different theme. And again, something that I thought about doing myself for this one, because I think this map really lended itself to that kind of idea. But we have some really different themes going on in each one. A little pet peeve of mine is the in-game tunnels when you can see them underwater. I don't think it looks very nice, but can't be helped. I like the fact that you've tried to weave in other rides and other coasters in around the given coaster for the map. Yeah, it's cool. Again, another fantasy map. Definitely something that you have to look at with a fantasy eye. You can't say this is realism or anything, but I like what you did. I really like the clouds that you've got going on here in the kind of Indian Western style area. I think that's really cool. That's one of my favorite areas of the whole map, I think. You did a great job on each theme. I also really like the station area. I think this is really cool. So well done. Next up here we have Skywave. I really like the name Skywave. This is like an airport hangar, and we have like an airplane theme going on. I feel like the map kind of lacks kind of foliage and detail, and there isn't really any structure going on with this one, unfortunately. Would like to see maybe some supports as well on the coaster, but yeah, there's not really any flow going on. There's not really any paths or any places where guests can interact with the ride. But I really like this crash plane area. I think that's really cool, and I think like a deserted airport kind of theme would have been something that would have worked really cool. So more of that would have been nice throughout the whole map. But thanks for taking part and actually building something and sending that one in to me. Next up here we have Valhalla, and this map I was a little bit confused with at the beginning because I wasn't sure about the rainbow gradient, but now I think I get it, and I think it's kind of like what you see in Thor with the rainbow bridge. So maybe I'm right, I don't know. But this is of course a Scandinavian style map, and yeah, it's really interesting to have that rainbow gradient going through it. It definitely adds a whole new kind of element to it. It's cool. It's got some really nice Scandinavian style buildings there. I love this little building here in the middle as well. I like the seating areas and some of the guest interaction you've got going on with the coaster, and the terrain work is really nice as well. It kind of follows the coaster. It's not all completely flat. I kind of just wish that you had maybe some custom supports to kind of add to the level of detail, and also the station building. I think it would have been nice if it was a huge building, kind of similar to the one in the middle of the map. But overall, I think it's a great map. You did a great job and I really liked it. Next up here we have the 3-day jungle, and I think it's called that because he did this in 3 days. So absolutely smashed it out of the park in 3 days. Built. It looks really cool. I like the colors. I love that pale blue floor. I haven't seen that very often. I think that works out really well, especially against the red track. Got some really cool details in here. Unfortunately, I feel like it was a little bit rushed, obviously, because you did it in only 3 days, and the end of the map lacks the kind of detail that you have at the front of the map. I think if you had some more time, I think the detail would have been there. But I like the log flume as well. I think the log flume fits perfectly where you've put it, and it matches in with the rest of the kind of land really well. The station building as well is really special. I really like it. Again, using some Freedom 2K there to kind of get the angles going on, and especially with the sign there for the ride. But you did a great job. Again, some custom supports would have been nice, but I really enjoyed the map. So now I'm taking you to outer space to Colony 76. This is by Space Monkey. We have a really great sci-fi map here, which has a fantastic color palette, and I'm a bit of a sucker for a good color palette. We've got these really nice pinks and purples, which go nicely against the gray and the orange. I can really appreciate this. I feel like you've taken maybe a leaf out of Astrotron's book with some of the sci-fi style buildings here, which is absolutely no problem at all. I think being inspired by other builders, if you were of course, is a great thing. Really like it. I really like the buildings. They could have a little bit more detail because they're a little bit blocky, but maybe that was the style you were going for. But I really like it. Like I said, I think it's great. It works out really well. Every part of this map is covered head to toe with something, rocks or foliage. We've got paths everywhere, and we also have this really cool kind of sci-fi structure here on top of the lift hill with this really cool stripy pipe down the side, which I like as well. Yeah, it's really cool. I really like it. Again, another fantasy map. I can really appreciate all the effort and detail that you've put into this. You filled the map from head to toe, and just thanks for taking part and for sending this map in to me. Next up here we have a really pretty map called Stricklands Midway. This is really pretty. I really love it. This wins the award for the best custom supports. I think they look absolutely awesome, and I can really appreciate the level of realism that you've gone for, especially on the lift hill and that drop with doing the chunky spine and stuff. Very inspired by the B&M Giga coasters. But yeah, absolutely love this. It's a bit more on the generic side, but I can just, like I said, I can really appreciate all the little details. The lighting on this one's really cool as well. You've captured that style of a classic kind of Midway that have put in this new modern B&M coaster, the Steel Cyclone. We've got a really cool custom carousel roof there. The dodgems have been covered up really well. I love the curvy paths that you got going on. That just makes everything look so much more real and organic. I love it. Really cool transfer track on the ride as well, and all the catwalks and everything. I think the level of realism on this one is really cool. As you know, I'm a bit of a sucker for realism. Yeah, great map. I really appreciate all the detail and work that's gone into this one, and thanks for sending it to me. Oh boy, here we go. A Robo Flamingo creation. As you know, something completely out the ordinary. This is Chroma Forge. This is a paint mixing theme. I mean, I don't know how you think of these things, but basically this is a factory that makes colored paint, and it's genius. But yeah, really cool. Full of color. The whole map is just colorful from top to bottom. I don't think it's as good as some of your other builds that you've done, but it's definitely up there with like wacky ideas. It's really cool though. This wins the award for the best trigger effect. As you can see in the top right hand corner, there is a paint mixing station, and it's the triggers that have got this colored water going into this black bucket. They're making a color, and it comes out the other end and goes down this kind of trough. And I just think that is just so like incredibly genius. Like would never think of doing that type of thing. So I can really appreciate the ideas that you do. It's just madness. So well done. So here is one of the most improved builders that I've seen do this challenge, verkip with Sandshark, and I don't know like where this improvement came from because it happened so suddenly and so quickly, but this map is really good. I can really appreciate all the details. We've got a nice detailed queue line. The station's cool. Got some really cool animated station gates in there as well. The rock work is really cool. Again, I think this taken inspiration from Astrotron's rock work because his rock work is just really perfect. And yeah, this has got like a Grand Canyon feel. We've got some nice kind of tourist parking there. I love this bit with the rock over the top of the street there. I think that's really cool. Nice interaction. The turnaround's cool as well. I really like that. And we've got some really cool trigger effects as well on this one with some custom kind of shark-like trains on the track. I think to take this build to the next level, some custom supports would have been nice because you already put in so much detail into the map. Custom supports would have just given it that extra little bit of detail, but massive improvement. I can really appreciate the work you put into it. Can't wait to see what you do next month as well. So next up here we have Mystic Valley by Dasamaka, and this has to be one of my favorite stations that I've seen this month. I think the station building is just really fantastic. I love everything about it, the colors, the kind of angles, and the different composition that you did with the buildings. I think it looks great. We've got this really cool dragon as well, an amazing prop that you've made. Again, the composition of it is really cool. It looks really natural the way it's sat there on the rock, and I love the turnaround. This has a really cool turnaround with that black dragon poking his head out of the tunnel. Very kind of theme park-esque, something you would see in a theme park, having that kind of facade on the front of a backstage building. I really liked it. I wasn't so sure about this middle section here with the purple rocks and that, but the rest of it, the back end and the front end, were really cool. Got these really cool clouds as well up on the drop there. Yeah, it's a really awesome build. Really appreciate all the work you put into this one. Again, that station building is just mwah, chef's kiss. Like, I love it. It looks fantastic. You again are another player that I've seen just improve massively from playing each month, and I can't wait to see what you do again. Like, this is stellar work, so thank you for sending that one in to me. So now we're getting into the top entries of the month, starting here with Vultureflight. I thought this map was amazing, and this wins the award for the best prop. I think that bird sitting on the station, the steampunk bird, is just incredible. Again, it's really sitting there organically. It doesn't look weird. It looks like it's really gripping onto the station. All the little nuts and bolts and all the details on it as well are really cool. I love the terrain. This one is definitely more on the simpler side, but I think it works really well. I don't think it needed to be absolutely rammed full with scenery and stuff. I think having open spaces with really nice terrain work just work really well for this one. And these three different kind of robot style steampunk-esque creatures again look really well. I love how one of them is kind of creating a near miss on the coaster and supporting the track, and each one of those robots is kind of positioned at a really cool angle. I think it's a really cool map. I absolutely love it, and that bird again is just incredible, and I absolutely just it's amazing. So a huge congratulations on building this one. I can just appreciate all the work that you've put into it. So this month we have a joint second, starting up here with studiokv. This map is really crazy, insanely detailed. This is a disaster map. It's called Damage Control, and it's basically South Korea, and I guess it's like an earthquake or something. We've got this really cool building falling apart. That's really cool. A really great use of Freedom 2K. I feel like I've seen a lot of city stuff from you before, especially with the El Loco month when you built that kind of Hong Kong style town. That again is very similar to this one. So I feel like I've kind of seen it before, but the disaster aspect is something I haven't seen before, and I can really appreciate like the amount of detail you put in to make it look like there's been an earthquake. You've got this crashed plane, these collapsed buildings, collapsed walls, cars on fire, turned over trucks and buses and stuff. Got some cool trigger effects in there as well. This for me is one of those maps that is better at nighttime than in the daytime. I'm showing you around now at daytime just because it's better to see all the details. But nighttime map is really good at nighttime. It's got some really fantastic lighting and fire and effects and everything. The custom supports on this as well, I really like them. I think some of the I-beams in there definitely add to that kind of look that you were going for. It's really cool, and this is a map that shows you how basically Freedom 2K can be used, because there's nothing on this map that is gridded. It's just completely everything is organic and random. So the other map is Astrotron's Avengers Campus. I absolutely love the station building on this one. The way that it actually looks like the chest plate of the Iron Man suit is amazing. I really like all the references to Marvel and to the Avengers. I think it's great. The Avengers A on the floor as well is just perfect. You absolutely nailed that. I love this as a theme. I think it works really, really great. The back end of the map is really cool as well. I love the kind of spider claw kind of mechanical monster, which has got the Hydra logo on top of it, which I think is also a really cool little Easter egg there. Yeah, it's really cool. I love it. I also love that the trains are different colors. One is silver to represent the MK2 suit, and one is red and gold to represent the MK3 suit. So those kind of little details I really, really like. A great map. I think the whole thing together is really solid. So a huge congratulations. So in at first place, we have Talos by Solric, and this map is really pretty. I really like it. You've gone for like a swamp type feel, Something I haven't seen very often either, having like a muddy, swampy water. We don't see that very often in the game, but I really like this. It came down basically to personal preference, and I just thought this map was really beautiful, and the way it was done was really nice. I liked all the terrain, the kind of different plants and all the swampy water. I think it worked out really, really nice. The way the coaster is kind of weaving in and out of this river and the trees, really pretty. We've got a cool little swamp monster there sitting in the mud. I think that looks really cool as well. The buildings are really unique. I love the style of it. I love that kind of off grayish bluey floor as well, with all these little seating areas and the crates and barrels and things. It looks really nice. But the station building for me is really pretty. I really like it. Those huge vines coming over the top, I think it looks great. So huge congratulations. So here's my map. If you haven't seen me build it already, it is over on my channel. I did it into 4 parts, but basically I just played a nod to my YouTube name, Coaster B, and made a bee themed coaster. I was inspired by rides like Fury 325 for basically like the bee theme, and for rides like Hyperion to have that kind of cyberpunk neon style, and also the lift hill on Orion was inspired me as well. But yeah, I basically did like a very kind of realistic style looking theme park. I went for a bee themed hyper coaster and did like a nice backstage area here with a maintenance monorail. We've got a nice little restaurant in the middle there, and we've got this honeycomb kind of pattern going on throughout the whole thing to tie the whole thing in together and to tie it also to bees. But I did a nice little transfer track area. We've got a nice little white skeletal bee station, a nice little photo booth store there as well. So yeah, again, I feel like this is one of those maps where it's better at nighttime, and I can definitely say that I think in the daylight it is a little bit boring, but at nighttime, if you put it into dark mode, the lights are really cool. All the honeycombs light up and everything, and I've got some in the floor as well. We've got the nice little flat ride there in the corner, which also lights up. So yeah, and also I put on these nice little trains which have been made. There's a mod called Fantasy Trains that has lots of different trains for all the different coasters in the game, and you can get those staggered B&M style trains there, very similar to Diamondback or Shambhala. So I put those on there as well. But yeah, that's basically what I did. I hope you enjoyed it. A huge congratulations to this month to everyone that took part in this competition. I really do appreciate the time that you put into building these maps. So thank you very much. So now let's get on to the new map for August. So for August, we have another Danamberley special. This is a flying coaster, and the tricky parts of this one are the 2 empty spaces either side of the coaster. The coaster is also on the diagonal, and we have some track passing over and under the station. So it's really interesting. Can't wait to see what you guys do. I have no idea what I'm going to do at this moment in time, but we shall see. And yeah, the rules are, as always, you can't change the layout of the coaster, and you can't move the park entrance or the depot, but you can move the entrance and exit to the ride. You can change the color of the ride, you can change the trains, and you can basically do whatever type of theme you like. So I can't wait to see what you do. Deadline is the 30th of August, and to submit your entry you just have to upload it to Steam and fill in the submission form, which you'll find on Reddit and on Discord, and check my YouTube because I'll post it there as well. Big shout out to my Patreons, thank you for supporting me, and I can't wait to see you next time here for another episode on my channel. Bye!